Okay, cool. So we're going to circle the drain on this whole San
Okay.
Francisco
Yeah.
thing, but we'll take it back. When was the
Yeah.
first time you were aware of art as a thing separate from just existing?
Yeah, getting that question in advance, I gave that a lot of thought because I've really had to go back in a Gestalt therapy type of way. And I think as I frame it for myself and as I remember it, we lived very close to my grandparents on Staten Island, New York when I was young, and they lived there until I was in high school. And so New York was always very much part of my life, and their home was very much part of my life. My grandmother was a painter. She was also a very talented dressmaker. My grandfather was a very talented photographer, although he worked at NBC Studios in Manhattan. So their home always had a lot of art, and we would be looking at slideshows of my grandfather's photography. There were oil paintings that my grandmother made on the walls. My great-grandmother was sitting, crocheting. There was always this atmosphere that I don't know when, but at some point I realized going into my friends' homes, going to other people's homes, that's not standard, that they don't necessarily have oil paintings on the walls, especially that they themselves painted. So somewhere in my socialization of being allowed to go to friends' house and being in other people's homes, I think I saw, oh, I think that's different. And that was really being aware of that and understanding there's this thing called art and an art life that my grandmother had, that my grandfather had, that not everybody else has.
Understood. Interesting. What was it about your friends' houses that was lacking, or how did you know it was different? Because obviously they had a sailboat or something somewhere in the house, right?
I think I did notice how friends' houses were decorated. My friend Linda's mother came from Guatemala, and she had beautiful handmade pieces, like fabric pieces on the walls. And I remember noticing that and thinking, oh, this is interesting. These are unusual. You don't see this in everyone's house. There was something different.
Yeah. Okay. And about how old are we talking?
That was about 6th grade when Linda and I became friends.
Interesting. Yeah, it's funny when we come online. It's like later than you would think, but still young, of course.
Sure. That's my first real memory that I can kind of pin something to it. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Well, very interesting. I'm glad to know. And then when did you adopt, obviously it's a journey, when did you adopt your style? Or when was the first thing that was like, oh, that's actually me?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I've tried to think that through as well. I will say my grandmother, back to my grandmother, she would really appreciate that. She was such a wonderful oil painter. She could actually copy Monet's. So she had exquisite replicas, handmade Monet oil paintings, and she very much valued fine art and antiques and things like that, this high art, fine art aesthetic. I distinctly remember being little, probably 4, 5, 6, and going into New York and being on the train. There wasn't a train from Staten Island to New York, but I remember seeing trains in the late 70s with graffiti all over them and being like, wow, that's cool. So I was always very attracted to graffiti. And that just that sort of street art aesthetic and that human way of people being like, I was here, has just always fascinated me.
Sure.
And I think that sort of unpolished, very much not fine art, rough, a bit darker aesthetic through my kind of goth punk years just kept going.
Through the goth punk years.
The goth punk years
I'm
definitely had a lot to do with it.
That's formative for sure.
For sure.
And that must have been tied with music.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever tagged?
Yeah.
Sorry, maybe we could,
No,
I
that's
don't know
okay.
if you want to
Actually,
incriminate.
the Bricktown roller rink was the first time with my fat, light purple marker.
Oh, nice, a big.
It was big. It
Cool.
was a juicy marker.
Was it words or was it?
Oh, it was just my name.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. That's what I went from being Patty with a Y
Mm-hmm.
to Patty with an I, because it looked cooler to have something over the I.
Exactly.
Like a squiggle or something.
Oh, so you squiggled?
Yeah.
Maybe you did a heart from time to time?
Oh, probably.
What else? Tell me every permutation of that
I,
dog.
I remember stars. I remember I was into stars.
Yeah.
I remember I was always trying to do different stuff with my P. Like, fat letters, like fat bubble letters. I was always trying to do that.
Sure.
And do different things with the P more than the I. But then that I stuck
Right,
for all
okay.
eternity. Yeah.
And the crosses on your T's probably.
Yeah, I don't know if I did anything interesting with them. I'll have to revisit that.
There's more. Yeah,
That's
there's more
right.
time.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Looking forward to your next
Wow,
round.
you're taking me, woo!
I always ask this question. I'm always interested, and I think it relates to the street art, but in a different way. What role does television play in your creation process, in your relaxation process, in your?
I watch very little TV anymore, which is great. I used to pride myself on that from college. I think from college age for another maybe 10 or 15 years. I used to pride myself. I don't have a television.
Yep.
Definite pride point.
Sure.
It was books everywhere. TV is definitely part of my tune-out relaxation. If I'm cooking dinner, I'll kind of have something going on the laptop, and really, it plays very little. In my creative process, I would say where it feeds into it is me watching artistic documentaries or things in that
Right.
that way. Really.
Understood. Yeah. The answer that I often get is you can only create so much. Particularly if you're focused on one medium, you get exhausted, and so people need that
Sure.
that rot time, even though it's not a proper relaxation. So if not television, where are you taking your pauses and your break in your work?
Let's see. I have 2 cats that I feel like are a full-time job, so there's a lot there. Where am I taking my pause and my break? I do love to walk around this beautiful city. Love it.
And I'm curious, what is your favorite route?
I think my most common route, the most well-trodden path, is pretty much down Polk Street or over Russian Hill, down to the aquatic park. It used to be out onto the aquatic park pier, which is now shut, and then down through Fort Mason, and then that whole Crissy Field down to Golden Gate Bridge.
Wow.
I love that.
That's a long one.
That's not necessarily always the one walk, but I'll chunk that. On occasion, I will get to Crissy Field and walk from there.
Right.
But the city behind you and the mountains and the water and the bridge in front of you, and the sky always looks different. The light always looks different. It's every time I see it, 19 years now, and it's still, how lucky are we to live here?
I completely agree.
Yeah.
And beautifully put, and I agree. Have you ever painted the bridge?
No, that's not, yeah.
I didn't, I thought you would say no to that.
Right, yeah, that's not, I stay really far away from realism. I am a dreadful representational artist, and I cannot draw to save my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I know people say, oh, well, there's your style, and I don't like my style. I don't particularly like my handwriting. I don't like when I illustrate something for a sketch. I don't really like my style. There are probably 10,000 people where I would, even if they're not an artist, be like, oh, wow, I love the way you sketched that. I don't like my own sketches.
That's a sign that you're probably good.
Yeah.
I've heard that John Lennon doesn't like his own voice.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my, oh.
You know what I mean?
That's so funny.
And we love it, of course.
There you go. I have photographed the bridge a million times.
Okay, sure. Do you take photography seriously? Like, do you have a fun camera?
I did have a fun camera for a while. I did have a pretty good Nikon for a while. And I carried it around New Zealand with me for 3 weeks once, and I brought it home. and one of the SIM cards had failed. And it was just such a process with editing and carrying it around, and I thought, never again, I'm going to stay light. So I have a little Nikon now.
Sure.
And the phone kind of works.
Phone's great, and then you can do a lot in post. So
quick grabbing things, and you know.
So what I'm hearing from you is you want to be unburdened, slightly. You want to travel lighter.
Exactly, exactly. Have the flexibility to grab a moment that you're feeling or seeing, or something about a moment. I'll trade out for that. I don't need to have some sort of quality that I'm going to be printing it out.
Right.
You know. So that's fine.
Which mediums are you working with right now? Just because you have so many commas in your description.
Right now, I am working on a really great and important project that I had started with a woman also in the Bay Area as a collaboration, and we were taking some of her art photography of flowers. And I had a burning desire to do something with it, and I didn't know what it was. It finally turned out into a street art project, kind of late spring this year. And David Repisar saw what I was doing, and he said, why don't you bring it indoors? And so I have been doing rather small scale wheat paste items. But we did have a big group collaboration about 6 weeks ago where there were 5 of us that got outside and did a big piece together. And so what I'm actually working on right now is I'm going to be painting 2 canvases. I have painted one of those canvases, and collaging onto it's about 6 by 9 yards.
Wow.
And doing collage, and I'm also wanting to add some stitching to that, some kind of large scale stitching, which just came to me 2 days ago. I'm like, what is this missing? What is this missing? I'm like, oh, I need to stitch the canvas.
With a yarn or string?
Yeah, with embroidery floss. But David took the initial ideas that we had a step further, and in a nod to the first indoor show that I did with him 2 years ago, we did a community collage. So what we're doing with this mural is we're also going to make it participatory for people who come by. So the top part of this, I keep calling it a mural. It's a collage. It's a painting. Will be standalone, and then a smaller piece that it kind of feeds into this group where people will be invited to come. And honor somebody in the here and now, and post, glue a flower or some colored pixels or something on that. Yeah.
So you're gonna have who is going to be walking? Anybody?
So one of the 2 events that are happening is at Venus and Victory on SF First Thursday in the
This
Tenderloin.
next coming, the November one?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Lots happening that day.
Yes.
Hopefully this is out before, unlikely, but.
Have me back, I'll tell you how it went.
Yeah, exactly. I'd love to. Yeah.
Or we can cut this out and.
Right, that's right. We can save it.
We could always cut this out. This is true.
Man, she was wearing the same outfit for 2 interviews in a row.
Actually, ask David. That wouldn't be strange. That could be expected.
You're one of
wouldn't
those.
Be highly unusual.
For you or for any? For
me.
Yeah. You're more of a what do they call it? The uniform.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I do that way. That's my style too.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to think. You can dwell on all this other crazy stuff. Yeah.
Jeans, black shirt. Great.
I completely
Good job.
understand. Yeah.
Thank you.
Very cool boots, by the way.
Thank you.
I wonder if we can get those in shot. Just lift them up somehow, and we'll see.
Let's see.
Yeah, there we go. Bam.
How's that? Okay.
Yeah, I think you did it. It's the subtle things, Okay, so I'm curious. Art is expression. You're very good with your words. Sometimes you speak with artists and they can't really talk very well because they communicate through their art. Is art a supplement to your words? Is it a full replacement to your words? What is the intersection of verbal language and visual language for you?
It's probably a supplement. I studied art history in college because in part, I did not have enough confidence in my own artistic ability to go to art school like some of my friends did. And I thought art history would be a great way for me to be participating in the artistic universe. So I have read, written about, and talked about a lot of art during my life. But for my practice, I often am putting words to it, even if nobody else knows that.
Okay.
I'm writing something through to try to get to the gist of what I'm feeling that I'm wanting to create, if it's not just coming. And I do actually also like to put words into my work on occasion.
Yeah, I've noticed that for sure.
Yeah.
I've noticed like newspaper clippings as well. Are those very specific?
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes you just like that texture. Yeah, of course. And then I'm sure you've had the experience where you didn't choose it intentionally, and you later zoomed in on it.
And now I look back and I'm like, what did I put on there?
Yeah, and then it perhaps had some sort of like, oh wow, that actually really works.
No, I don't know if I haven't actually had that experience yet.
Okay.
No,
I'm sorry to project.
I need to do that. No, that would be very interesting to see, especially where it's a newspaper, if it was of that moment and not something that I had maybe, stored away and pulled out, fished out. So it would be interesting to see kind of date stamp around that element being part of the piece.
Sure. That would be a fun interview. We could go back at some of your old works and like see what's there.
What was happening?
Yeah. So let's see. What else am I curious about?
Do you want to talk about my grandmother more?
I do want to talk about your grandmother more. I noticed that she kept coming up. I forgot to choose that tributary.
Mary, it's not even your birthday. I don't know where she's coming from. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, maybe there's something in this work behind us in David's work.
Maybe.
Was there any grandmothers?
Absolutely.
The
Every time, I know. Truly, that's what.
Based on Jennifer Coro's family roots in Mexico. The Lake District of, Coro Lake District in Mexico.
Oh, okay.
So there you go.
Called upon her ancestors when we did
Here's an example.
There you go.
We can't run from the influence of this.
Oh, no.
Looking back on your work, if you could make one artistic edit, what would it be? Like edit out a choice you've made.
I mean, you mentioned my pottery, and I only stopped doing pottery 4 years ago.
Oh, you stopped? Okay.
I had hand surgery, and I was changing studios, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna clean everything properly, which took weeks, clean everything properly and just put it away until I'm done healing. I'll get back to it. And that's when I really got more into the paper arts, and shifted gears and started doing more classes and residencies in paper-related arts. And with the few things I have that I made, I have a couple of things that I like, and I wish I had stuck with it a little bit more, or never done it at all. Channeled all of those resources into other things.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some editing there, I think.
Overemphasis on one modality.
Yes, I really put everything into it and was demanding excellence from myself.
Right.
Because I didn't have a history of relatives that had done anything with pottery. So I was like, aha, here's something I can do that they couldn't possibly judge me for because they don't know how difficult pottery can be. And it was hard. And, I also got very conscious of how much waste there is.
Sure.
The chemicals, the amount of water that you use, and that kept playing on my mind. So as every time I'd pull something out from the kiln, or not even get it into the kiln, and feel disappointed, I'm like, why am I doing this?
Right.
I'm wasting all of these precious resources trying to explain something or do something and feel good, and I wasn't feeling good.
Ooh, and you have to nip that in the bud.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
For how long do you suppose you were feeling not good before you made a change on this matter?
I'm going to say 6 months.
Okay,
I think.
that's pretty
Yeah,
good.
it was about 6 months where
Yeah.
it was just, I'm not seeing results, and yeah.
I read this quote recently. I'm probably not going to state it directly. I think it was like a picture of a cat gazing into the distance, and it said, "Perhaps you're a slave to your own self-image," or something of that.
That's great.
Yeah, right? And that really was thought-provoking. I was like, wait, what is the world asking me to do versus like, what am I like really set on? So it sounds like what was driving the, I don't want to project too much, but perhaps what was driving the ship there was this desire to differentiate yourself from your family. We always want to be unique in certain ways, in some way.
Sure.
I don't know, do you relate to that kind of conceptualization of it? Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. And I even feel that now. I'll sometimes stop and go, oh my God, there's so much art in the world. What are you contributing to? And there are people in my mind, of course, that are significantly more talented, educated, well-versed, confident in their artistic expression. And I'm like, why are you doing this? Why are you wasting your time? And it's like, because it's just a drive, and it is therapy, and it is a way of being in the world, and it is a way of processing everything that's in here, and that you see and you feel and you hear. And so it's kind of just become, it's like umami. You know, all of a sudden we had this new sense. It's like umami appeared. And like, art could be the seventh sense, I think. It's this other thing that's very hard to discuss and pinpoint. And it's like this otherness of art.
Truly. Yeah, it's like a fifth dimension.
It really is.
It's like, yeah, something happens with it.
Yes.
But actually, I want to take it back because you were just kind of circling on it, and you mentioned you became art history major out of a lack of confidence, is what I interpreted. Yeah. Where'd that lack of confidence come from, and then how did it eventually shatter to become this creator that you are?
Let's talk about Mary again, shall we?
Yes, we shall.
Yes, my grandmother said that she was, as my mother said about her mother, everything she touched turned to gold. She was so incredibly talented. The dresses she would make, you know, everything was just always exquisite. She was always exquisite. So there was just this level of what is art and perfection. And of course, she had gone to 2 years of fashion school. She could draw beautifully. My mother also, amazing artist, beautiful illustrations and painted beautifully. So these two women ahead of me were just absolutely extraordinary. My grandmother had no problem in coming right out and questioning everything. And I will never forget the time that she said to me, Jackson Pollock, anybody could do that.
You're right.
And I just thought, wow, okay. So I think if you weren't doing this bar of an old master or super realism, or if you weren't, then you were making garbage.
Right.
You were wasting time.
Right.
So.
Okay, so that brought you to art history.
Yeah.
But then eventually you broke free of that.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, not completely.
I always had my
but,
own little art practice on my bedroom floor, watercoloring, and that was always just my little quiet kind of, thing that I did. And then just over the years, it got more important, and you would see the difference. I could feel the difference of if I went out and spent an afternoon at a museum looking at artwork, how I felt after that. Mostly elated, sometimes really exhausted, and not forgetting what I felt or what I saw. And those things kind of stay with you. And so you notice that over time. You notice how things make you feel in a pattern.
Right.
And you want more of it.
Right.
Yeah, it becomes more important.
Are you creating what you're not seeing and you want to see?
Oh, yeah. I think I am doing that, actually.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's very true.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks for contributing it. We wouldn't have it otherwise. Yeah. Okay, well, we're wrapping up. I'm just really thankful to hear all this, your perspective on all this. So yeah, thanks for discussing it.
Thank you for asking very interesting, and that I'm going to continue to think about your questions.
Good.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Really good and important questions.
I hope so. Yeah. Let's make sure. Did I ask one or two that made you cry prior in reviewing?
It was about Mary.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Mary still with us?
Oh gosh, no.
You're right. Okay.
No, she made it to 90 though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she made
Mary.
it.
She was producing.
Yeah, she was something else, that woman. Yep.
Was she married into her old age, or with a partner or anything?
She spent her last 15 years living with my parents. My grandfather had died, and really stopped doing anything creative. It was too exhausting for her. But she had packed a lot in.
Right, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I just asked that about her, but I'm curious in general, because sometimes I wonder if an artist's finest work is created not even for presentation, but as like a gift to a lover or something.
Oh.
And if perhaps your finest work had ever come from that motivation, or?
No, I think the pieces of mine that I like the most, I've just been
going.
Playing around,
Yeah.
Whenever I'm trying to execute something intentionally, it takes me a long time to get to the thing that I'm feeling or seeing in my mind that I want to create. It takes a lot of iterations. Most of the things that I make that I like are just these beautiful accidents of the moment, of the lighting that day, the paint worked great. I don't know,
And perhaps an accident or two.
Yes, many of those.
That makes me wonder if you would call things like that like God, or if you have a different word for it.
Oh, I'm not religious. So if I'm referring, there is in my life, I believe, this great higher power that has given us snow on mountains and pine trees and all of the great, beautiful stuff that we have. That Mother Nature creator spirit is definitely out, and I definitely believe that some days, to coin an expression by my friend David, the portal opens, and it's like you are getting the light of some sort of divine energy, often coupled with an inkling of some ancestors in there. But it can definitely feel otherworldly in a way that feels like nothing else.
Right, there's that,
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
Or God.
Sure, yeah.
Sure.
I didn't want to put a vocab word onto it.
That.
Sure.
Yep.
How I'm curious both how frequent that happens and how much control you feel like you have in inviting it or wooing it or forcing it, which I probably think is not the answer, but
right. No, because then you're just
runs away.
Garbage. It's pouring out of me. I am very much impacted by my sense of place, and so things around me like the light and the temperature, and I create. My portal opens when it seems to be overcast and rainy, and I can actually feel I feel the burst of creativity. Like
that is such an interesting answer. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
In the cloudy, rainy days.
So I feel it a lot here.
Exactly, which that's full circle for us. Yeah, San Francisco suits you.
San Francisco, it suits me. Yes, it does.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yes, it does.
Where can we find your next stuff? Let's talk about late November, December. Where can we find you?
End of November. So my piece and the community piece will be coming down on November 29th from Venus and Victory on Hyde Street.
Yep. Tenderloin neighborhood. David Spott, who you've heard from on this channel.
And I don't know what's after that.
Okay.
Actually, I'm still evolving this collaboration. With my friend Jules in the East Bay. So we're going to continue. So if you're walking around San Francisco and you see this antique vase and a bunch of flowers in some formation, it was probably us.
Cool.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, scavenger hunt, y'all. Keep a lookout.
I love it.
Great. Well, perhaps we'll do a part 2 if you'll allow it, and we'll catch your next round whenever that may be. Thank you so much for like sharing this
you.
perspective with me.
Thank you. This was really fun.
Good. I'm glad.
Cool. So good to meet you.
And now we will be interviewing Nick.
Yay!